This movie tells the story of a sniper, a man so skilled that even with his eyes blindfolded, he never misses his target. But before becoming a sniper, he was just an ordinary math teacher until life pushed him into a war he never asked for. The story begins in a quiet, empty countryside area, where a couple lives happily together. The husband's name is Mykola, and his wife is Nastia. Nastia is a talented drawing artist who creates beautiful statues, while Mykola works as a math teacher at a local school. At school, there's a mischievous student who constantly troubles me, trying to force him to leave his job. But Mykola is a quiet, patient man, and he never lets anger take over. One evening, when Mykola returns home, he receives joyful news his wife is pregnant. The couple is overjoyed, dreaming of a bright future together. But the next morning, everything changes. On his way to school, Mykola sees breaking news on TV. Russia has launched an attack on Ukraine. Still trying to continue his routine, he heads to school. On the way, he notices two suspicious soldiers, but ignores them and keeps driving on his cycle. When he reaches the school, he is shocked to find it completely empty. The news confirms his worst fear. Russian soldiers have entered Ukraine to seize control. Fear grips Mykola's heart. His pregnant wife is alone at home, and the two soldiers he saw earlier might have been Russian. Panicked, Mykola rushes back home as fast as he can. When Mykola finally reached home, he was devastated by what he saw. Two soldiers were brutally beating his pregnant wife. Desperate, Mykola begged them, "Please, don't hurt her. She's pregnant." But the soldiers showed no mercy. They continued beating Nastia until she collapsed unconscious. One of the soldiers entered their house to search for valuables. When he found nothing, he set the house on fire in cold blood. Stepping outside, he casually told the other soldier, "Let's go!" The flames consumed everything Mykola and his wife had built. Enraged, Nastia, despite her weakness, picked up a stone and struck at the soldiers. But before she could do any real harm, the soldiers raised their rifles and fired. Nastia was shot and killed instantly, leaving Mykola shattered and broken. The next morning, two Ukrainian soldiers arrived and tried to console me. They dug a grave and handed him a shovel, telling him to bury his wife. With trembling hands and a heavy heart, Mykola laid Nastia to rest. The soldiers then took Mykola with them to their base. But when the army commander learned of this, he grew furious. He scolded his men, saying, "If this man is a spy, he could destroy us all." But inside, Mykola, a fire of vengeance, had already been lit. He stepped forward and told the commander, "I want to drive the Russian soldiers out of my land." His determination impressed the commander, and Mykola was officially recruited into the army. His training began immediately. While other soldiers skillfully assembled their rifles, Mykola struggled. He couldn't keep up, fumbling with the parts. But instead of giving up, he spent the entire night awake, practicing tirelessly until he finally mastered assembling the weapon. In the morning, when soldiers were being chosen to become snipers, Mykola also stood up and said, "I want to be a sniper too." The commander replied, "You can't even remove a magazine from a rifle. How will you ever become a sniper?" This made the other soldiers laugh at Mykola calmly said, "I can assemble a gun in 20 seconds. The commander challenged him. "Show us then." Mykola stepped forward, tied a blindfold over his eyes, and assembled the rifle in just 18 seconds instead of 20. Everyone was stunned by his skill, and the soldiers began to clap and cheer for him. The next morning, Mykola and the other soldiers were taken to another location for sniper training. Classes were ongoing, and soldiers were being handed sniper rifles. When Mykola's turn came, he was given a weak, worn-out sniper rifle. Mykola protested, "Give me the same sniper you gave the others?" But they refused and mocked him, saying, "Do you really think you'll kill enemies with this sniper?" Despite this, after training, Mykola ranked first among all the soldiers. Later, Mykola and his unit were sent on a mission. Ahead of them were Russian soldiers, and Mykola, along with his comrades, observed them carefully. Just as they aimed their targets, a car appeared with a boy and a girl inside. The commander ordered, "Wait!" But the Russian soldiers began shooting at the civilians. Furious, the commander shouted, "Kill them all!" The snipers opened fire, killing every Russian soldier and rescuing the boy and girl. Afterward, the soldiers returned to their base. When they arrived, they brought back the dead body of a soldier who had been sent on a different mission. This loss brought deep grief to everyone, especially Mykola, because that soldier was the one who had helped him bury his wife and had gotten him enlisted into the army. The story then shows Mykola with some soldiers moving through heavy fog, where visibility was almost zero. They reached a location, planted mines, and waited for the enemy. Soon, Russian soldiers approached. The squad aimed their rifles, triggered the mines, and killed all of them in a massive blast. After returning from the mission, Mykola and the commander were sitting together, talking about their families. Mykola asked the commander, "Does your family know that you are serving in the army here?" The commander replied, "No, only my wife knows. My daughters don't. They think I'm away on a business trip." Later in the movie, some Ukrainian soldiers were preparing for an attack, while Mykola and the commander were observing through their sniper scopes. They spotted a vehicle with 2 Russian soldiers nearby. Mykola said, "I can shoot them." But the commander replied, "No, keep watching." Mykola ignored the commander's orders and shot one of the soldiers. The other quickly hid behind a tree. Mykola then informed his sniper team, but instead, the enemy sniper targeted the commander and shot him. At that moment, bombs began raining down from the sky. Mykola carried the commander to the doctor, but it was already too late. He had passed away. The commander's body was later sent back to his home. Mykola was consumed with anger at himself, realizing that because of his mistake, the commander was forever separated from his children. Later in the movie, we see some Ukrainian soldiers on watch. One of them is inside a room, while another is hiding in a pile of trash. Nearby, a mysterious soldier is observing them, though they don't notice him. As soon as they come into his sight, the soldier shoots the one hiding in the trash. Hearing the shot, the soldier inside the room reacts quickly and fires back, but he misses his target. The mysterious soldier, however, takes careful aim and successfully shoots the Ukrainian soldier in the room. After killing both of them, the soldier removes his mask, revealing that it was Mykola all along. Later in the movie, Mykola was resting when suddenly he received a call on his phone, instructing him to come to another base. The next morning, he arrived, where all the soldiers were already gathered in a meeting. Mykola joined them, and after the briefing, they headed toward a Russian army base. Snipers were positioned to keep watch, while Mykola infiltrated the base directly. Inside, he found the very soldiers who had killed his wife, and he executed them without mercy. Meanwhile, Mykola's comrades each took down their assigned targets. At this point, Mykola's comrades each eliminated their own targets, while Mykola himself executed the commander of the Russian soldiers. Just then, a Russian military vehicle arrived at the scene. Mykola's team quickly took out the driver, forcing the vehicle to halt. The soldiers inside rushed out and began firing wildly in every direction. But they stood no chance. Mykola's comrades, hidden at a distance, picked them off one by one with deadly sniper precision. After completing the mission, Mykola headed towards his abandoned home. The memories of his wife had brought him there. He stood for a long time, silently looking at the house. Then, he sat beside his wife's grave and began talking to her. After that, he once again devoted himself to his missions, continuing to protect his country, and with this, the movie comes to an end. So, how did you like the movie? Who among you wants to watch the full film? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Goodbye!